about to listen to the Dr. Daliah Show. Sassy, stimulating medical talk radio. Any medical advice Dr. Daliah Wax gives on her show should not be substituted for an actual visit to your medical provider. And now, here's Dr. Daliah.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALI, 1-877-DOC-DALI. So it's about flipping time. This is not the first time a president has asked for there to be transparency and ordered transparency of our costs as it pertains to why does our health insurance cost so much? Why does a Band-Aid cost so much at a hospital? Why is a surgery at one hospital $50,000 and at another hospital $25,000? And so price transparency has been something that consumers have been asking for decades. Now, Trump in his first term had mandated that, but that never really went anywhere. During the Biden administration, people let it go. In fact, Obama, during the Affordable Care Act, also wanted there to be transparency. If an insurance company was going to take the Affordable Health Care Act and use it as an excuse to skyrocket their premiums, they had to explain why. Well, the premiums skyrocketed and it still didn't protect us. So Trump wants to ensure that we get access. And that's something that RFK Jr. wants to do as well, where we get to read the studies. We get to see what the hell is going on. Not just, well, sorry, if you're going to see me, it's, $700. Well, why? Why is it $700? And if it is $700, all right, let me go price shop. We're allowed to price shop for things at Walmart. We're allowed to price shop for things on Amazon. You could Google anything, hit shopping, and it'll show you the different prices. Yet you go into a hospital and you have sticker shock 5 days later, 2 days later, 2 months later. So in his executive order, I got this yesterday. He said, let me just read a little bit of this executive order. He said, the Secretary of the Treasury, the Secretary of Labor, and the Secretary of Health and Human Services shall take all necessary and appropriate action to rapidly implement and enforce the healthcare price transparency regulations issued pursuant to Executive Order 13877 within 90 days of the date of this order. They want to require the disclosure of the actual prices of items and services, not estimates. Issue updated guidance or proposed regulatory action ensuring pricing information is standardized and easily comparable across hospitals and health plans, and issue guidance or proposed regulatory action, updated enforcement policies designed to ensure compliance with the transparent reporting of complete, accurate, and meaningful data. Now, it goes on, but the executive order is basically something that we have been asking. You guys have been asking me, how do I know what an appendectomy is going to cost, or a cholecystectomy, or my gallbladder removed is going to, or my hysterectomy? And, it's interesting. I just had a colonoscopy. They made me pay, I think, $1,300 or $1,500 up front. And then a week or two later, I got another bill. I mean, the bills keep coming. And I appreciate that surgical center and what they did. And I'm going to pay out any bills they send. But it would have been nice to know ahead of time, because I could have, maybe looked at a different surgical center if I had wanted to. We don't have choice. We're supposed to. We have privatized insurance. We pay ungodly amounts for our health insurance each month. We are spending as taxpayers billions to subsidize the insurance companies. Why the hell can't there be some transparency? Now, somebody could say, well, what's the backdrop? Why are people critical of this? Well, one, people are critical of anything Trump does. But two, they say, well, now you're requiring a hospital to do this. That's going to cost money. Remember menus under the Obama administration, restaurants had to turn around and post their calorie count. Now, I liked the fact that there was education and people could go, okay, this is what the calories are. Although how accurate is it if somebody uses a dollop or they give you a shot of tequila or 2 shots? I mean, what are they really going to be accurate? But there was a lot of pushback from restaurants saying, okay, well, now prices go up because we have to redo all our menus. We have to consistently bring in calorists to figure out how much. I think is that what they're called, a calorist? Someone to figure out how many calories are in there. That's a cool job. We have to, it's going to cost them money. And yes, it did. it did transfer down to consumers, and things got expensive. So, but here's the thing. All right. You get price transparency when you go to a restaurant. You know what the salad is going to cost. You know what the sandwich is going to cost. Yeah, they might throw some extra convenience fees or COVID fees or back staff fees, and they might add extra fees. But for the most part, you know what you're about to buy before you buy it. You don't have that in healthcare. And so you should know. If somebody is getting a $60,000 bill from an ER, why? Now, I understand that markup has to happen because these hospitals are not getting paid by, when they take in individuals who don't pay, they come in, they get care, they don't pay, they can't pay. I understand that they are hoping that an insurance company that does pay the inflated price will help keep them solvent or keep them above water. And we need to change that. I understand we've had a lot of migrants come in, use our healthcare system, not pay. Somebody has to take that on. And so Americans are taking it on, or private insurance, and that's why the prices keep coming up. But when we saw that Wegovy or Ozempic and Mounjaro Zepbound in one study cost $5.40 to make a month, and mind you, these companies do deserve some profit. Otherwise, why should they make new drugs? How do we go from $5.40 to make the drug to $1,600 a month? You got to just explain it. Just be transparent. And this is what Trump is asking for. This is what the consumers are asking for. Apparently, this is something he wanted to do in his first presidency, didn't get done. See, he's a little bit more seasoned now. He saw what went wrong in his first presidency in terms of not getting things done. The wall didn't get built. And so now he's like, not on my second watch. And so, yes, are going to be people grumbling. It might cost more because now people have to get a webmaster, and I'm sure the government and HHS could provide some direction on how to do this because hospitals operate very similarly. But it's about time consumers get to see what they're paying for and make a decision to see if that markup is worth it or not. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by right now to answer your questions for free. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-710-5100. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell our listeners who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me join you to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now and find out how much your case is potentially worth. Call 800-710-5100.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. If you think you deserve compensation, call now to find out how much you qualify for. 800-710-5100.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
diesel fuel cetane levels.
The cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to totalwellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. totalwellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Dr. Dali, 1-877-DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to you all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on X or Twitter at Dr. Daliah, Facebook, The Dr. Daliah Show, on YouTube. Click like and subscribe. And, of course, if ever you miss a show, please, sorry about that. I tell you, I don't know if a hiccup is coming or a burp is coming. Does that ever happen to you? Anyway, you can always go to my website at drdaliah.com, hopefully free of burps and hiccups. So when I heard about this yesterday, I didn't believe it. So people were telling me that if they dictated on their phone the word racist, the name Trump would come up. And I'm like, come on, really? This is some AI TikTok BS. There's no way. So I tried it on my phone. And lo and behold, if you are dictating a text to somebody and you're saying that person is, or the idea is racist or whatever, it would temporarily flash the word Trump. Are you kidding me? Now, people have opinions of Trump. I get it. Some love him, some hate him. But this is Apple. I tell you why this is a bigger deal than people think. Okay? Listen, this isn't the first time Trump has been called racist. That has just been the narrative that people have been promoting now for years. But what makes this scary is people look to their phones for accuracy. People are looking and using their phones for AI. People are using their phones to deliver messages or to tweet. Remember, there was a sportscaster that was covering the Nuggets game. And I don't know what happened with the software, but he was accused of typing the N-word. When he said that was a spell correct or a dictation issue, I was covering the basketball team. And this happened to two different sportscasters. And so we're putting a lot of trust into these gadgets, into this tech. And to see a company as huge as Apple allow something like that to happen, that's frightening. It's very frightening. And, we have freedom of speech, thank God. But if a company is touting that they have AI, they have tools that will dictate you fully, that will, what's going on with these subliminal messages? And it wouldn't type Trump, it would flash it, which means somebody actively coded this. Now, listen, companies will have Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, atheists, Catholics, Jews. Listen, we are a very diverse population in America. But when you start to mess with things that the public sees, and when people are trusting a function or a feature, you start to wonder what else has been manipulated. And we have witnessed manipulation of the media, manipulation of the internet, manipulation of history. And we start to remember, we talked about how a lot of our world is not being reality anymore. And many people are growing up in a non-realistic world because all they're using are their gadgets or their tech. This is why we could be in a lot of trouble. And it's just as upsetting to see somebody, if the bot or if the dictation, if you said God and it turned out and said Trump, and then it said, no, what are you doing? God is God. Who's doing this? And so this manipulation and trying to flash subliminal messages to you. And maybe all the person wanted was the media to cover it. Because now all you hear in the news over the last 24 hours is Trump and the dictated word racist or dictating racist and the word. I mean, maybe that was their plan all the time, to have people put the words together. But listen, if I buy a piece of technology, I don't want politics. I don't care if you're an Eagles fan, if you're a Chiefs fan. Okay, I want this to work. Remember that Amazon, there was that story where somebody asked, should I vote for Trump? And it said, we can't comment on that. Should I vote for Kamala Harris? They said, yes, she's overcome. People should vote for her because she's overcome obstacles. And you know, the bias that we have coming from our tech companies is frightening. And what are they doing? And especially when you look at the country as very split. And in this last election, wanting Trump over Kamala Harris. So who are you manipulating for? Are you trying to convert people that voted for Trump? Are you trying to convert people that voted for Kamala? What are you doing? And why are you trying to convert anybody? This is a free country. We should be free to choose and to like and support who we want to. And I keep saying this. For those of you who only want a Democrat in power, only want a Republican in power, then you're not American. Okay, you know, we have to have checks and balances, and we have to have all ideas. We are not a one-party country. The day we become a one-party country, we're not a democracy. We can't be one-party rule. We have to have multiple sides. And Apple and their iPhone, which is ubiquitously in our homes, if that little shenanigan, right, is going on, what else? Really? And the funny thing is look at the backlash. People didn't like it. And who are you preaching to? Who are you doing this for? And I get people think there's a cause and they need to fight for the cause, and the cause is to keep Trump out of office or whatever their cause is. And I understand that some people take these causes to such a horrible level that they try to assassinate people. All right, we got some sick individuals here. But if you're a company like Apple, and the funny thing is Apple said they are fixing the bug. I got wind of this a few hours after the story broke, and I was able to last night still see this happen. Really? They couldn't fix it? They couldn't figure it out? You are one of the biggest tech companies out there. You are the biggest phone companies out there. Well, CNN is reporting that they're working on it. I don't understand why it's not fixed yet. And the company acknowledged the glitch. They said it was that was causing its system to incorrectly suggest the word Trump when users spoke words with R consonants. Yet if you use the word roll or rump roast, it didn't happen. So really, they're trying to say that Trump sounds so close to racist that's why the word came up, and that no, because it didn't stick. It flashed it. By the way, the video is on my Twitter and on my Facebook if you want to see. And so here's my thing. For those of you that are using your computers and using your tech and trusting Apple and trusting your Samsung and trusting for there to be accurate dictations, just double check everything you're doing. Imagine you dictating your wife where you are saying, I will be home soon, and it turned into, I'm having sex with someone now. Be home after. Can you imagine? That product would be thrown away. That company would go under in a day. You have got to realize that we are putting too much trust into these, and we are allowing these companies to become so powerful. I have an iPhone. I like Apple products. I am a fan of Apple, but this is BS. And really, is this what your employees are working on? Don't they have other things they need to do? I mean, is this why phones are thousands of dollars? Because we're paying for employees to manipulate users? So I understand everybody is just concentrating on this one little glitch, but this is a symptom of some major glitches and some major contamination. What else has been manipulated? News, Safari. I mean, is Safari the Apple? I'm kind of confused with all the tech terminology. You know, you have Google and you have Google Chrome and you have Bing and you have Microsoft Edge. And so I think Apple phones use Safari. So, and now we wonder, is it all biased? 1-877-Doc-Dolly, don't go away. Hi guys, Dr. Daliah here. Addictions can sneak up on us and come in many forms, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, video games, porn, or something less obvious such as food, internet, or shopping. Addiction can seem innocent at first and then evolve into an insurmountable evil. In our book, Addiction Basics, Caitlin Kalikas and I dive into the common addictions and provide tips for identifying and preventing these before they sneak in and take over our lives. Addiction Basics can be found on Amazon or my website, drdaliah.com. Check it out.
Lisa Wolf here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you. And be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.
We're back in the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-Doc-Dolly, 1-877-DOCDALI. So I decided to, when I went shopping, go and see what's happening with the eggs. And I posted these pictures on my Facebook and Twitter for y'all. Wow. I'm looking at grade A eggs jumbo. So a carton of eggs, $11.99. Marked down to $8.49 on sale. On sale. You're $12 marked down to $8.50. Are you kidding me? Then Lucerne grade A eggs, large, $7.49. Extra large, $7.99, reduced from $11.49. That's a lot of money for eggs. Plus, you could see the shelves bare. So I posted these pictures because this is real and it's ridiculous. This is really getting, eggs. Why are we here? Well, there's a lot of theories, okay? One is the Biden inflation. 2 is the avian flu. Avian flu has caused massive destruction, but also was being discussed that we have killed a lot of healthy birds that could have been laying eggs and might not have been a threat to the human population. And farmers need relief. And it's a little bit of a mess. And we need to kind of just break this down and figure out what exactly it is that went wrong and why is it worsening. We cannot be having $11, $12 carton of eggs. We got Easter coming up. In fact, you see these memes where people are going to be decorating potatoes instead of Easter eggs. Passover, you need to have an egg on the Seder plate. And we also, in order to get the matzah down us, because matzah is pretty miserable to eat, we use egg. We make matzah brie. So we need eggs this spring, big time. Can't be costing this much. Now, the White House said part of the reason why we are in the mess we're in is because of Biden's administration killing 100 million chickens. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt addressed the high cost of eggs. This is when she spoke to reporters this week. And she told reporters that there's a lot of previous administration's role in this, because that's when egg prices started to jump. She said, I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, she says, or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country. She also noted that the cost of bacon, groceries, and gasoline have increased because of inflationary policies of the Biden administration. She says, as far as the egg shortage, what's also contributing to that is that the Biden administration and the Department of Agriculture directed the mass killing of more than 10 million chickens, which has led to a lack of chicken supply in this country. Therefore, a lack of egg supply, which is leading to the shortage. So I will leave you with this point, she says. This is an example of why it's so incredibly important that the Senate move swiftly to confirm all of President Trump's nominees, she says, including his nominee for the United States Department of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, who is already speaking with Kevin Hassett, who's leading the economic team here at the White House, on how we could address this egg shortage in the country. Now, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that the average price of a dozen grade A large eggs was $4.15 in the month of December. That's $2.51 more from December 2023. But if you look at my pictures, from Albertsons yesterday, they're $7-8. So what needs to be done? How do we fix this? Especially since last year and the year before, all this news came out saying, yeah, eggs are healthy. Eat eggs for breakfast. Don't be eating cereal. Don't be eating sugar. Don't be eating carbs. Get eggs. Eggs can be very healthy, and they can be. You mix butter and corned beef hash and bacon with it, that's a problem. But having an egg for breakfast is very healthy. So what do we do? Now, the killing of the chickens, we were told, was the only way they could prevent the spread of avian flu. And in many countries, that's what they've done. The issue, though, people are having is how many millions of birds have been killed over the past few years, and the flu is still with us, the avian flu. And it's moving to cattle. And it's moving to other animals. We've even had some humans get it. So is the killing of the birds helping? If it is, then public officials will support it. But if it's not, are we causing a deeper problem? Now, these farmers are begging for help. And they believe what is going to be the cure is a vaccine. And these vaccine companies are working on it. I think we have a preliminary prototype that might be used, but let's look at the practicality of that. We are going to have to vaccinate everybody's chickens. We don't vaccinate chickens as a whole. So when you get a chicken, I know people are like, well, let's vaccinate them for salmonella. No, we don't mass vaccinate our chickens. One, it costs a lot. Two, many consumers don't want to eat food that was vaccinated. And so the next issue that's coming up is consumers are saying, listen, if you're going to be vaccinating the chicken, I'm not eating the egg and I'm not eating the chicken. And if you're vaccinating the cow, I'm not going to eat the meat and I'm not going to drink the milk. We have a lot of anti-vaccine sentiment these days. Now, I just don't know much about what's going to happen with this H5N1 bird flu to provide proper guidance. What I do know is humans are getting it. Somebody apparently died from it. One person was hospitalized from it. So it's not widespread, but it does have the potential to hurt us because I think our immune systems, our immunity is down. Maybe because of all the vaccines. Maybe it's because we don't challenge our body. Maybe it's because we're too challenged. Maybe it's because we're too fat or we're eating too much crap. But if, God forbid, avian flu does go from person to person, that could be highly, highly concerning. On the flip side, what does nature do? And I'm not advocating for this, but this isn't the first time we have had flu in animals. So what usually happens medical revolution and industrial revolution and vaccine what would happen? Well, survival of the fittest. Animals that would get it would die. Humans that would, that were not strong enough to get and withstand the virus would die. Humans that would be able to withstand it would gain an immunity. They would then gain an immunity, so who cares? We're fine. Somebody was talking about how a dog is immune to a funnel spider bite. And I don't know much about spider bites. I want to look into this because I'm fascinated by spiders. Scared of them, but fascinated by them. So how did that happen? Well, usually the funnel spider would kill, and a couple dogs didn't die, so their progeny ended up getting their genes, and now we have animals that are immune. I want to double check that, if that really is the case, but we might have to gain an immunity to this. But it looks like it's not going away. And we are not food excess in this world. We have massive food shortages. And to be killing birds in the hopes of stopping a virus, which is understandable, that's what's been done. The fact that it isn't working, we're going to have to figure something else out. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by right now. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-910-7500. That's 800-910-7500. Call now to find out how much your case could be worth.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
In a study, it was found that 33% of 44 herbal supplements had no trace of the advertised herb. Don't let that happen to you. Hi, this is Dr. Mitch. If you want to ensure quality, please go to TotalWellness.com. Supplements made for physicians only now available to you too. TotalWellness.com, helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.
Self-reliance. It's not a phrase we hear much in our culture these days. It might conjure up images of pioneers, the West, rifles, strapping men, and strong women. But what does it mean for us in today's world? The New American Magazine has just released its latest collector's edition, Self-Reliance, Foundation of Freedom. In it, the New American authors outline the necessity of self-reliance for a free people, tips for self-reliant living, and the importance of not giving up hope. This unique edition includes articles on the self-sufficiency of the founders, preparing for a worst-case scenario, firearms, financial self-reliance, the importance of community, and many other topics by expert writers. Now, for a limited time, the New American is offering a bundle of 3 collector's editions, Self-Reliance, The Great Reset, and Trump World, for just $19.95. Available at shopjbs.org. Visit shopjbs.org today.
We are back on the Dr. Daliah Show. Thank you all for tuning in. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH, 1-877-DOC-DALI. All right, so some of you have already spent your $5,000 before you even got it. I don't think it's set in stone that we're going to get $5,000 from Doge. I think it's a great idea. I think we should get some of our money back, especially when I drive by federal buildings that are empty. When I hear at VA hospitals, people are waiting months and they should be getting care as soon as possible. I think, there should be some accountability of what's going on in these federal agencies. And I want the jobs getting done that need to get done. So when we spend money, I'm like, oh gosh, look at what Biden spent, or look at what Trump spent, or look at what, people are like, I don't feel it. Or look at what Trump saved. Look at what, I don't feel it. So Elon Musk figured one way to get everybody's skin in the game is giving them some of their money back. Even though we do have skin in the game, our taxes are high. But our taxes, nobody's going to cut our taxes significantly. So we're not feeling it. Now, I understand Doge has done some amazing things, figuring out how to cut costs, but we're not feeling it. So for those of you saying $5,000 isn't enough, when do we get our $5,000? Some of you have already spent it. You went shopping on Amazon, so now you're just waiting for the check to pay off your credit card. I'd slow that down. I don't know when that's going to happen, if it's going to happen. The one thing about giving out checks is the euphoria from it is very short-lived. I wouldn't be surprised if that money comes to us before the midterms. So just, careful with your spending, all right? And $5,000 might not be enough. At first, it sounded huge. I was like, wow. But when people are looking at the trillions and trillions of dollars being spent that don't need to be, they're like, really? I'm only getting $5,000? I gave you a lot more in taxes. So it's an interesting concept. It's a concept I've brought up where I think if you work for the government and you save the government money and you're under budget, you get a bonus rather than spend, or we don't get the money. And so the federal workforce layoff chaos that has ensued is starting to get a little bit more clarity. So in a memorandum dated today, President Trump is giving these agencies a little bit more time, which is kind of what they need. I get we have a very bloated government, and we have a lot of individuals on the government dime that might have been working at home, might have, been able, we might have had 5 people who we really just needed one person to do that job. So I get that. I've worked for the government. I've seen it happen myself. I get that. So President Trump is now requiring that agency heads properly undertake preparations to initiate large-scale reductions in force, RIFs, consistent with applicable law. And President Trump has directed that no later than March 13th, 2025, agencies develop an agency reorganization plan. Now, federal layoffs are still coming, and I understand that probationary workers could still get fired, but there was a lot of chaos between this email that Elon Musk had urged the OPM, Office of Personnel Management, to give, which, by the way, I think people made a bigger deal out of it, and then it became even more chaotic. But in the private industry, you're always asked, what are you working on? Show us what you're doing so we know what you're doing and what, are you working on the right stuff? Is this something we need? Or, I didn't even realize we needed that to be done. So you always need to communicate with your employees on what they're doing, how they're doing it, and what they need. That should be done. It's just not on a grand scale with 2 million workers. So I guess somebody had posted online or posted to a message board what they're responding back to Elon Musk, and it was very dirty. It's very, I knew people would do this where they would bring up body parts and actions with body parts, and Elon Musk reposted it saying, you only mentioned 4 bullet points. The assignment was 5. So I understand people are having some fun with this, but it's a scary time. So now deadlines have been moved to March 13th, 2025, where the U.S. Office of Management and Budget and the U.S. Office of Personnel Management will then submit guidance on these agency reduction in forces, reorganization plans, along with the instruction that such plans be submitted to OMB and OPM. So what they want is to achieve better service for the American people, increase productivity, a significant reduction in the number of full-time equivalent positions by eliminating positions that are not required, a reduced real property footprint, meaning all the buildings we're paying for that aren't even being used because people have been working remotely, and reduced budget top line. These are things that this is something that happens in private enterprise. It should also be happening in academia. But instead, people just keep charging students more, and then we have to pay for it. So when you work full-time for the federal government, there are a lot of bonuses, a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of goodies you get. So if the government doesn't have to spend that, they don't want to. If you are in a federal position and you really believe, if you really kind of think about it, that, yeah, one person could easily do my job. What I do in 8 hours is not really worth the money I'm getting. You might want to prepare, get that CV ready. There's a good chance your position is going to be eliminated. What you should be now doing is, obviously, if the department heads are looking at this reduction, you might want to talk to your manager, and you might want to be in good communication with, let them know what you're doing. I told you this a while back. If you were working remotely, out of sight, out of mind, and you could be the first one cut. I prepared you guys for this. I didn't think it was going to happen on the federal level to this degree, but in the private sector, I'm like, look, why should they pay for your salary and health insurance? Health insurance is ridiculously high. Our labor costs are high. Everybody wants more money. There's been a lot of transparency laws where you need to post how much that job pays. So if somebody has been working for the company and they got hired at $9 an hour back in 2009, and now they've worked their way up to $16, $17 an hour, and you trying to recruit people are paying $25 an hour, that person needs to know about that. Because these older veteran employees are going to make less. So with those laws and transparency laws, now employers had to increase everybody's wages, and now they have to look at making cuts. So it's not an easy time if you're a federal worker. I have family members who work for the federal government. This is not easy, but it makes sense. As a taxpayer, I want this done. And I'm sorry. I don't want anybody to lose a job if they're a good employee and they're working hard. But if we really are having waste, fraud, and abuse, and if we are paying, I mean, when I saw those empty federal buildings, I mean, that sucks. I give a lot of money in taxes. I work really, really hard. My mom, on her Social Security, is paying taxes on her Social Security. For that, for an empty office building? Come on. The VA, and I get veterans who call me saying, yeah, it's a 3-month wait, or it's 5-month wait, or I can't get the brand name drug. Why not? You're a veteran. You should have the top health insurance because you gave your health, you sacrificed so much to serve this country. And really? Now, some of the new VA hospitals look really, really nice. But we still sadly have a lot of veterans that are not getting access to care like they need. Look at the veterans who are homeless. Why aren't my tax dollars going to them? So something needs to be done. 1-877-DOC-DALIAH.
Did you know that healthy arteries make a gas? Yes, actually 3 known gases. Hi, I'm Dr. Mitch, and nitric oxide is a gas that's readily made all day long to keep our arteries open by relaxing the blood vessel walls. By doing this, our circulation is increased, bringing blood, oxygen, and nutrients to every part of your body. Both age and poor diet can lead to a loss of this precious gas, and in turn, blood pressure can go up, energy can go down, and you can get tingling in your hands and feet. Well, our product, Ultimate Nitric Oxide, can easily help fix this lack of nitric oxide. Go to TotalWellness.com. That's TotalWellness.com, where we are helping you to look good, feel good, and enjoy total wellness.